Hello, welcome to another episode of Jim's Allotment Garden. Okay, so I'm just going to make the additional little sort of porch, if you like, on the Birdhouse gourd, and what I've done is I've cut out half a circle of aluminium. Now this aluminium is reasonably thick because what I want to do is bend it into a shape, and that's going to kind of sit sort of over the top there. So the first thing I want to do is to form the sort of circular shape that way. So I'm just going to use an old carbon dioxide cylinder. You could use pretty much anything to do this, but obviously it's got to be reasonably strong, so you can just sort of tap the metal down and to form the shape. As you can see now, there's basically the form. So that's going to sit sort of on there like that, as it were. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is basically bend up this part here to form the top. Now the easiest way to do that is against a vise, and because it's a circular shape, what you want to do is sort of tap, sort of make sure you sort of start in the right sort of area, and then just tap round like that, making sure you've got the same angle on that. Now basically what you need to be doing as you're doing this is stretching the metal, because obviously you want the metal to be wide as you go around. So there's going to be a little bit of faffing about with this, but basically what I want to do is, as you can see, there's the form that I've made on there. I want to do that all the way across, and what that's going to end up doing is making this go flat. So all I'm going to do is basically go along like that. So what I need to do now is to stretch this part of the metal along here, so it starts to go back into the the sort of the round shape, if you will. So what I'll do is basically start at this end. What I want to be doing is hitting it flat against there to stretch the metal. And then if you can see that, but it's starting to go back into the round shape, because what I've done is I've stretched this part of the metal. And what you can do as soon as you've done that is go back, just tap on that side like that, and so I'm stretching the metal and starting to make it sort of bend back around. So I'll continue doing that, and I'll show you when it's finished. Okay, so there's the let's put my heart on so you can see it better. There's the shape, and that bit there obviously fits onto the gourd like that. So it'll just go just above the door. As you can see, it sort of snugly fits around the gourd. Now what I'm going to do now is just put drill 3 holes through there and into the gourd. Then I'm going to put I think 2 pop rivets will be enough, one either side where my thumbs are, to hold it on. So I'll just do that now, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so there you go. So I tried to pop rivet it, but unfortunately the pop rivets weren't long enough to get a washer on the inside to hold, because obviously this is only sort of gourd shell, if you like, so it's not sort of strong enough to take a rivet. So what I was trying to do was put a washer on the inside to pop rivet it, but unfortunately that wasn't happening. So what I've done is I've basically put a bolt through from the inside, which is easier said than done. Run a nut down, washers either side, and tighten it on so that's nice and firm like that. So there's the gourd with this little porch on. And what I've also done is drilled 2 5mm holes in the bottom as drains, so if any water does get inside, and it'll just drain out the back and it won't become flooded in there. One other slight modification I'm going to make is I've got images of the bird coming out, little birds coming out and dropping through this gap here, so what I'm going to do is put a couple of wires or a bit of mesh across the bottom just to do that. But what I'll do now is just paint it all up and I'll show you when it's all finished. Okay, so just going to do a quick tour so you can see what's going on. In the greenhouse at the moment, obviously the grapevine at the end is doing great. It's all the way to here now, as you can see, so it's basically halfway along the greenhouse now, so that one's doing well. And the second one is just about here, and even though I keep sticking it underneath, it keeps trying to get on the top. But that's the grapevine. This one on this side again has done nothing. I've got these plants here that I need to pot up, and these here, those are the these are the Nicandra, I think. No, they're the Verbena, they're the Nicandra, so I need to get them potted up. As you know, I've already potted up some over here, but I need to get those potted up as well. Tomatoes are doing really well. I've got plenty of tomatoes coming on, as you can see. Some nice ones coming on down there. Plenty of weeds, and as you can see, the cucumbers. I don't know if you can see at the back there, but there's loads of cucumbers coming on there, and there's some over there as well. So we've got loads of cucumbers. I've already had about 5 cucumbers off this year already. The tomatoes are doing really well. No more signs of the blight, which is all good. And these tomato plants are literally growing about 2 or 3 inches a day at the minute. So by the time I've tied them up, I come up the following day and they need tying up again. But these only got tied up earlier in the week, and this one here has most certainly shot up this week. I mean, this weather, they're growing really well. And that really needs to be tied again just under that fruit truss there. But they're growing really well. The ginger, this is one of my experiments for this year. It's got a bit curly, but it was like that when it first started. But this one, as you can see, is opened right up. And I've also got a second one coming off that same piece of ginger. If you remember back, there was a piece of ginger here. There was one here, and there was one at the back now. That's those 2 shoots there are obviously off one piece of ginger. This one here, unfortunately, there's nothing come there. So, but 3 of the 4 isn't too bad, and we've got some coming there. But that's about 2 foot high now, so I'm quite impressed with that. I actually went to some organic gardens over in Ryden, the other side of Coventry, a couple of weeks ago on Father's Day, and they're actually growing ginger, and it's about kind of the same size as that. It's slightly more advanced than mine, but it looks very similar to that, so I can't be doing it all too bad. I've got plenty of weeds growing in the greenhouse, as you can see, and I keep pulling them out. But I don't know where they come from, all these weeds. But anyway, that's the greenhouse. Now these are the normal broccoli plants. And as you can see, these basically are ready to put out, which is good because I've just about finished with the others. This pepper plant, I'm not quite sure what's wrong with it, but it has been watered. It is wet, but it's I don't know if the weather's suiting it, to be honest with you, but it's gone a little bit droopy. Even though we've got some peppers coming there, as you can see, it's not looking very happy with itself at the minute. So even though it's got more flowers coming and it's got more fruits coming, unfortunately it's not too happy. These are the Nicandra, and these are the hollyhocks, the black hollyhocks. So they've really grown on since they've been put up. But all of these are going to go out probably tomorrow, to be honest with you. I think I'll finish them off tomorrow. So that's the greenhouse anyway. So these are coming on really well in the greenhouse. The herbs are doing quite well. I've never known the oregano flower this early before, and it's clearly the weather that's done that. But all the mint and everything else is doing really well. The hollyhocks, as you can see, are just coming into bud now, so I think we're going to have some hollyhock flowers in the next few weeks. These are the herbs. They've all been weeded out and everything, even though there's still a few weeds in. I think I've spent most of this year pulling weeds out, to be honest with you, but they're all coming. So that was all watered earlier on, which is, I don't water herbs very often, but they've been watered anyway. I really do need to get the leeks out. It's something I've been meaning to do for a couple of weeks. Okay, so here we've got these tomatoes. I think they've gone too far now. I really should have potted them up. So I think I'm going to have to ditch them, to be honest with you. Some flowers need to go out, and these here, these are the lentil plants, which all being well I'm going to put out tomorrow. but some of them have actually started to get a few flowers on, so I most certainly need to get them in the ground. The tomatoes that we've got outside are doing really well. As you can see, we've got plenty of tomatoes coming, and so they're sort of growing quite nicely. They've all been tied up and everything. The asparagus is starting to look a little bit sort of weather beaten. I'm not sure why, really, to be honest with you. It has been knocked about a bit this year, but as you can see, it's gone sort of like a browny sort of colour, and I think that's possibly down to lack of water. But I don't typically water the asparagus because they don't like it too wet. But look at the raspberries that we've got. I really do need to get up here and pick these. It's absolutely laden with raspberries at the moment, so I need to get a pot up here and pick them most certainly. Sunflowers are doing really well. These are up to about sort of, I don't know, 4 foot high now. As you can see, all the way along there, doing really well. These potatoes have most certainly picked up. I've had the sea posies on these potatoes at the top end here anyway, and they've most certainly picked up after I've watered them, so that's good. We had quite a bit of rain yesterday, so I shan't be watering them tonight. But the sweet potatoes aren't doing particularly well. Again, we've got some weeds in here, which I keep pulling out, but I don't know, it doesn't seem to suit it here very well, but it's I don't know, we'll have to see, but they don't seem to be growing too well here. I don't know if it's the weather or sort of what, if it's not hot enough, but what I may well do is move these into the greenhouse to give them a better chance. The courgette plants are most certainly recovering. As you can see, they're starting to recover from there. They were a little bit stressed when I first put them out, but what I've been doing is putting some straw around at the end there, and tomorrow hopefully I'll be putting a few more around here. Now the straw's going to be doing two things. One, it'll act as a mulch to sort of suppress the weed around them. It'll also support the you know, the fruits and that coming off the courgette plants, but it'll also sort of hold the moisture into the ground as well. So when I tidy out the chicken run, I'm going to be putting some of the straw around here as well. So there's plenty of weeds coming in the potatoes. I really do need to weed them out. Now this is starting to come together a little bit down here. The onions, the weed is just, I don't know, I just can't. I weeded all of that out 2 weeks ago. There wasn't a single weed there, and some of the weeds now are about 2 foot high. So constant battle. But anyway, this is the first tunnel. I'm just bringing you in here because what we've got is some sweet peas come. As you can see, they've only been in a couple of weeks and they're already flowering. So we've got a nice red one over there, nice white ones here, and there's another white one here somewhere. Oh, sorry, it's at the other end. And hopefully we'll get some blue ones as well, because as you know, these were called the RAF ones, and they're supposed to be red, white and blue. So we've got a red and a white so far, but the blue escapes us so far. But as you can see, as I was hoping, the little tendrils have sort of gone out and they've grabbed without me tying them up, what they've actually done is started to climb up this net, which is exactly what I intended them to do. The Nero kale is doing really well. This is really starting to grow now. These are the ones I put in last week, and they're also growing really well. These had a bit of water last night, not too much, but I gave them a bit. And it also rained last night as well, so they've all had plenty of water. Peas are doing well, so I need to start thinking about putting the second batch in there. And this kale's done alright. We've had 2 meals off this kale so far, so it's doing alright. But what I do need to do again is get in there and get the weeds out. Unfortunately, the weeds are hard work just now, to be honest with you. The sunflowers on the outside of here, what I've actually been doing is I've put some canes up because the wind was blowing them about a little bit too much, more than I would have liked. So what I've done is I've just put some 8-foot canes in, and I've tied it back on the end of the tunnel. And what I've done is I've tied the sunflowers back onto there to just support them a little bit, because I was a bit worried that the wind was going to knock them about. But the one thing I have noticed is all of these have got one bud at the top, like they normally have. This one, for some reason, has got little buds all the way down it. Now, I have seen sunflowers like this before, but I've never known it to have little buds all the way down like that, or at least the ones I grow. But anyway, that's the sunflowers down here, and that's the only one to my knowledge that's gone like that. Now, in the brassica cage, this is the one at the bottom. I've basically used all of this broccoli here. So what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, and I'll possibly do another quick video on this, I'm going to take all of this out tomorrow. I've just got a few bits and bobs at the end there, as you can see if I just zoom in there. We've got a couple of heads on there which I'm going to be using during tomorrow. So I'll pick that tomorrow, and then I'll fetch all of this out. What I'm going to do is dig it all over roughly, get all the weeds out, and then those brassicas I've just shown you in the greenhouse, I'm going to be planting them. But one thing that I have noticed, and I'm not sure if I'll find any now, but I'll have a quick look, is I found a couple of caterpillars in here. They're aphids there, I think. Yes, they are. All of these are coming out tomorrow, so I'm not too worried about these. But what I am worried about are the no, I can't see any caterpillars on there, but these purple sprouting broccoli. I just wanted to say, I've been growing purple sprouting broccoli now for probably 20 years, and I have never known it grow this big before, this early. I mean, these leaves, they're like rhubarb. I've never known leaves like that on purple sprouting broccoli before. So I really do think this year is the year of the brassicas, to be honest with you. Now, the one problem that I have got, and you can't actually see from here, but I've had moles in the allotment, and I don't know if you can tell, but this ground is quite loose, and you can see the ground has been disturbed under here. So what I'm having to do is keep coming in and trying to stamp the ground down, just to support these. I've been in here a couple of times this week and I've been watering, and I found some of these kind of falling over, because what's happened is the mole's not damaging the plant as such, but what it's doing is he's digging around the bottom of them, loosening up the ground, and then the plant's falling over. So but anyway, I'm really pleased with the brassicas this year. I know these came early, and but we've had a really good crop. I've had, off this broccoli, I've fed all my family. There's 5 of us, and as you can see, I've still got loads up here. But I think I've had 9 meals from here. And when I say meals, I mean I've filled basically a nice big saucepan full of this. So I've probably, from a shop wise, I've probably had about, I'm not exaggerating if I said, £35 worth of broccoli out of this tunnel so far. So I am really pleased with the outcome in here. I did price it up in Tesco's actually last week, and I thought, yes, if I'd have bought all of that, it would have cost me about kind of 30-35 quid. So anyway, I'm really pleased with the brassicas this year, even though I had a little bit of a panic on because they were coming early. But even though I've done that, even though it's done that, it gives me a second chance to grow a second crop. Anyway, a few more weeds here, but I have done some weeding here. As you can see, all the parsnips have been weeded out, and I need to get up here and do a little bit more sort of detailed weeding on the beetroot. But as you can see, the beetroot's a little bit patchy. So this bit here is okay, and it's okay to about kind of here, and then this one starts to get a little bit patchy, so I've got bits missing, and on this side it's a little bit patchy as well. I'm not quite sure why, but for some reason I've got a couple of holes in both rows on the beetroot. The Swedes are doing really well. Again, this is possibly the best couple of rows of Swedes I've ever grown. So they're starting to fatten up now. I've noticed if you look down at the bottom there, you can actually see, I don't know if you can see, it's probably a bit too dark for you, to be honest with you. Look at it from one of these here. If you can see there, it's about that wide at the moment. So the Swedes are starting to fatten up, and the spinach is growing quite nicely here. What I'm tempted to do is put another row of spinach in actually somewhere, but anyway, that's those. A little bit less success here, to be honest with you. As you can see, this is where the mole's been. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a hole there. You can see these holes here. He's been digging around. He's been digging in here as well. Look, there's a hole there, and it's made this ground quite sort of loose, and you know, when I put my foot on it, it's basically just vanishing under my feet. But you can see there's little holes all over the place, and I don't think it's done these pumpkins much good, to be honest with you. But what I've been doing is giving these a good water. Actually, there's a mole there. Look, did you see him then? See if I can dig him out. Now he's shot down the hole. I've just seen one there, little black one. They are pretty little animals, but they do cause a bit of trouble. But anyway, I've got moles for sure. But anyway, the chickpeas at the front here are doing really well. But what I need to do is I put these little nets over just to protect them a little bit. And unfortunately, because they've grown so quickly, they've gone through the net. And what I'm frightened of is when I take these off, it's going to pull some of the branches off. But what I'll do is I'll nip around and be careful and get those out of the way. The calendulas are out, as you can see. They're doing really well. And these are the new variety that I put in this year. These are the sort of crab coloured ones, which are really pretty. Obviously we've got the traditional orange ones as a double. There's a spiky one, but and we've got the yellow ones as well. So these have come really well. So if you remember on the early photographs of the allotment from a couple of years ago, you remember seeing something like that. So they have come on really well. But these are the new ones I put in, and they're not that different from the orange ones, to be honest with you. They're a bit closer than I was expecting them to be, but again, it gives a bit of variety, and variety is the spice of life. So anyway, coming around here, I'm looking at a few more weeds. Actually, a friend of mine said to me the other day, he says, I don't grow weeds in my allotment, I only grow green manure, which I thought was quite funny. But anyway, as you can see, the moles gone through the corn as well. However, it doesn't seem to be causing too much of a bother, but the corn is growing quite nicely, so I'm pleased with that. These pumpkins and that down here aren't growing particularly well, but they have been watered, and I'm hoping they'll start to get hold. I keep having to come round and putting my foot on the ground just to collapse the mole holes going around it, but hopefully they'll start to pick up the next few weeks. Right, the beans, as you know, the beans are doing all right. A lot of them have got to the top of the sticks, but we have had a bit of a problem with aphids. Now these have been sprayed twice now with garlic. I'm just trying to find one. As you can see, there are the black fly, and as you can see, I think they are pretty much dead. There certainly doesn't seem to be any of them moving. So, and they were sprayed twice with garlic. Yeah, and they do seem to be dead, to be honest with you. So, but what I will be doing is, just in case I've missed anywhere, what I will be doing is going over again and just spraying them with garlic again. But I think I've pretty much nipped them in the bud as he pulls the flower off. Yeah, I don't know if you can see them, but I think they're dead, to be honest with you. So that's the beans. But I mean, the black fly, this isn't one I sprayed actually. Yeah, you can see they're moving on there. So I do need to spray again. I don't think I've sprayed that one particularly well. The onions from this side, as you can see, I have got a little bit of allium leaf fly on that far end, and there's the odd one here, but on the whole the onions are growing quite well now. But it's disappointing to see this bindweed. I thought I'd got all of that out, but clearly not. And the weeds growing up here, if I just show you this, see all those weeds up there? That was clear last week. They've all grown this week, so I need to get up there again with the hoe and get a bit of a clear out tomorrow. And some of the weeds that are growing here, these ones, I don't know if anybody else has got this weed, but it's an absolute pain. It gets thousands of seeds all over it, and they just spread like wildfire. But if you look across the top of the potatoes, you can see the weeds sticking up at the top. So it's a fine balancing act, going through the potatoes and pulling the weeds out and not damaging the potato plants whilst you're doing it, to be honest with you. So what I need to do is very carefully walk my way through and at least pull the tops off the weeds so they don't seed everywhere. But I'm going to be doing that a bit tomorrow, but unfortunately today I've been out, so I've not managed to do anything today. Coming back up here, there's the straw I put around the straw comes out of the chicken's nest, and I didn't really clarify that earlier on. So there's no chicken muck in there as such, but what I like to do is, you know, sort of rather than just put it on the compost, put it on the ground, and then it'll act as a mulch. This is the other side of the raspberry, so I need to put a few more plants in there, as I've said before. but as you can see, the sunflowers are doing really well. The espalier trees are coming on quite nicely, and we have actually had some josterberries this week. I don't know if you can see them there, but there's some josterberries forming there. We had a little bowl of them earlier this week, so they're quite nice. Need to get some raspberries picked as well. And the strawberries, so far, believe it or not, we've actually picked 9 kilos of strawberries so far this year. So, and there's a load on there that need picking now, to be honest. As you can see, there's plenty of going under the. It's not going in focus. There's plenty more under the plants to come. But anyway, that's the allotment on the 4th of July. Just one other thing. During the conversation that we had last week with regard to the hose pipes and stuff, I said that you could get timers, and basically this is one. This is one a friend's very kindly given me, and this is made by Gardena, Gardena. It's a German make, and they are really good. And basically what it is, it's a battery. You can actually take this front bit off. You've got a battery inside there, and inside this bit basically you've got a valve, and then basically what you can do is that bit sort of slots on like that, and basically what you can do is you can. There's 2 main functions. One, there's a manual override, so you can, if you do that, I don't know if you can hear. Can you hear that click? That's the valve opening and shutting inside. So you can turn your water on and off just by pressing that button there, and it'll open the valve. Or the other thing you can do is you can set a program. Now what the program basically does is you can set it up so it will say it's 6 o'clock in the morning, it'll come on for half an hour and then switch off, and then at night again at 6 o'clock, for example, it'll come on again for an hour and then switch off. So if you are going away on holiday, or if you're going away, or if you just don't want to be bothered watering and stuff like that, if you set your hose pipes up right, and you know, make sure that they're all, you know, sort of stable and they're not going to move or anything like that, and you've got no leaks, what you can do is leave the water on, and then at 6:30 in the morning that'll switch on, and it'll water your garden for half an hour, and then obviously after half an hour it'll switch off, and then again in the evening what it'll do is it'll come on at, you know, whatever time that you set for an hour or whatever, give your garden really good water, and then again switch off. So if you're going away on holiday or anything like that, and you want to, I mean, you could set it up watering your greenhouse, or you could set it up watering, you know, the garden, or sort of basically anything. And obviously the other thing that you can do as well is if you can get a combination of these, you know, you could get sort of, I don't know, 2 or 3 of them watering different sections of the garden. Obviously what you'd want to do is switch them on at different times, so you've got the water pressure there to, you know, sort of use the sprinklers and stuff. But that's another useful bit of kit that you can, you know, you can sort of get your hands on. I don't know how expensive they are, to be honest with you. I would imagine they're probably 30-40 quid or something like that, but luckily, you know, a friend of mine's actually given me that one to use. But as I say, they are available in shops and on the internet. I've seen them on the internet, and they're around sort of 30-40 quid. And if you are going away on holiday and you want to sort of keep your garden watered or whatever, then, you know, if you put yourself one of them, the attachments on here are exactly the same as normal sort of hose pipes. So you've got sort of a male one on there and a sort of female one on there. There's also a filter in there as well, but you can sort of screw onto there the attachments for normal hoses. So the one like this one here that I'll put onto the seep hoses, that all the threads are standard threads, so that'll basically just screw straight onto there like that. So that'll either screw onto your tap, straight onto your tap, or you can screw another joint on, you know, to like have a hose pipe one like that. And then basically all you need to do is come in with your hose pipe, connect it onto there, and then away you go. So I hope this episode has been of some use to you. Please don't hesitate to put any comments or questions that you've got below, and thank you for all the support with the channel, and I'll see you on the next episode of Tips on the Garden.